I died to the last click.
Wait, what?
I died to 96. Oh my gosh, dude. This is absolutely, without a doubt, one of the worst experiences I've ever had when it comes to luck. I had like 84 deaths past 55%, bro. Thank God I beat it tonight. I'm so glad, man. Oh, this is not a bad level, though. I really do like it. My grand total of attempts was 9110. Honestly, for a level with this difficulty, not bad by any means, but it definitely took me way more than that should have with how unnecessarily unlucky I got with this level. Holy crap, dude. I'm gonna re-record this segment because whenever I initially recorded it right after I beat it, I completely forgot to talk about difficulty, and also it was kind of all over the place, so I kind of wanted to just redo it to get it more concise and a little more in-depth. Diamond Disco by Zeronium. I initially saw this level on Twitter a couple weeks ago whenever Zeronium had finished the last part and showcased it. I was on spring break whenever it got verified, and I thought, oh, the level looks really sick, really fast gameplay, which is something I like. The deco is really well done, and it has a banger song, so I wanted to give this a shot the moment that I wrapped up my finals once I got home. And that's what I did. Literally the last day of my finals, it was like last Friday. I got home, I took a nap after my final, and I got up and instantly started learning this level. So learning the level was actually a lot of fun. I really like the learning process of the level because this level is very sync based. It's very easy to learn because you can just click to the beat and figure out what to do. And I was able to get the level down very, very quickly, which I really liked. It was very, very, very satisfying to learn. Building consistency was a little annoying because this level has a skill set that I'm not very good at. As a lot of you remember, my experience with Wazaretta was not the best because I just typically do not excel at very fast timing based levels. Wazaretta isn't really timing based, but this level more so is. This is a very timing based level. So I did struggle with it a lot. But despite that, once I started to progress pretty consistently, it was really fun. I was having a great time up until I started getting a little unlucky, which I'll get into in a minute. I guess I'll talk about the level now. The pre-jump was at first the most annoying part of the level for me, solely because it was so difficult. Like, it's deceptively difficult. I didn't think it was going to be nearly as hard as it was, but it ended up becoming ridiculously consistent. Despite the difficulty, I was able to get to the drop like basically every attempt towards the end of me playing it, which was so satisfying. And the good thing about the pre-drop is that it's not boring. It's really fun. I really liked it. It kept me engaged without stressing me out or ever like pissing me off once I got consistent. So honestly, when it comes to pre-drops, I think this level does it perfectly. This is a really, really, really good pre-drop. I was a big fan of it. The drop is also really fun. The entirety of it's really fun. There are 4 segments. I'm gonna talk about each of them. The first part was honestly probably the easiest part of the drop. It was a nice introduction. The waves were actually very consistent and really fun. They looked really difficult, but maybe it's just my wave skill, but I didn't find them that bad. The cube following it, 47% was kind of a really bad choke point. I'm gonna blame it on my skill though, because as I said, I'm not very good at this type of gameplay. For the section with the spider orbs, I would have a really bad habit of either clicking too fast or not clicking fast enough, because as I said, this is a skill set that I struggle with. So a lot of my frustrations with this part came from the fact that I'm just not good at it. Once I did finally get the part down, I was able to pass it literally every attempt. That's gonna be a trim of this level. A lot of my aggravations with it come from the fact that I'm just not good at this type of gameplay. Moving on to the duel, definitely my favorite part of the level. That duel was so consistent. It was so fun. I loved it. It was actually so satisfying. Despite the fact that it was kind of hard to see what you were doing at some points, like 60% specifically, I didn't really know what was going on there. Besides the first wave being a choke point for me because I couldn't click that fast consistently, again, skill issue, I really liked the duel. That was my favorite part of the level. It felt super cool, and the best part was there's a color combination in there because the dual colors are randomized, and I beat it with soulless colors. Not actually, they aren't actually soulless colors, but in the second half of the duel, it does flash dark blue and white, and that's my icon color. So I'm calling it soulless colors, and I beat it with those colors, and it's freaking awesome. Moving on to the second cube, probably the hardest part of the drop for me because it was so high CPS. And again, skill issue, but I did find that cube like a little bit tough for the drop. It was pretty frustrating, but again, it got very consistent towards the end to the point where I was able to pass it every attempt as soon as I got the section with the spider orbs down. So not a bad part. I do think that some of the timings were a little tricky for that part, but it wasn't terrible. Moving on to the ending was probably the hardest part of the level for me overall. It is just absurdly difficult, especially the last 10% of the level. The 91% click, 92%, and the 93% click, absolutely brutal. Those timings are evil, dude. They are so difficult. I never died to 91 from 0. Blows my damn mind. I don't know how I did that. I really do like the ending. I think the click pattern is super satisfying. It is just obscenely difficult, man. It is so hard. And again, this could be a skill issue, but I really do find the ending to be like, not by far, but I do find it to be the hardest part of the level by a decent margin. And I really can't emphasize just how hard the last 10% was. Holy crap, dude. That last cube was impossible. But again, it did get really consistent. This level is possibly one of the most consistent levels I have ever touched. My last session of it lasted about 10 minutes from 0, that is. My second attempt from 0, I got 86. My fourth attempt from 0, I got 93. And then like 4 attempts later, I beat it. I had 3 drop attempts in my last session, and all of them I got to the ending. That goes to show just how consistent this level gets. Zeronium outdid itself whenever it comes to playtesting with this level, because despite the fact that there were a couple small choke points, which again, could just be a skill issue, very, very well play tested, ultra consistent, no bugs. It's such a well-made level in every aspect. And I really hate the fact that I got really unlucky with this. I had like 85 deaths past 55%, which is pretty damn unlucky. I think I had like 18 deaths at the ending. I had a lot of deaths at the ending. And as a result, I got really frustrated with the level. But that's not because I didn't like the level, it's just because I was getting unlucky. If you get unlucky with anything, you're gonna dislike it. So sadly, I didn't love this level playing it, but I will never diss this level because holy crap, it's so good. This is a really, really good level. I'm just kind of sad that I didn't get to have a super fun time with it towards the end. That's just mostly because I struggle with this type of gameplay, as I've said like 4 times before. Overall, this level is absolutely phenomenal. It's a really, really good level, and I would highly recommend it if you're into high CPS gameplay. Just beware that this level is very high CPS, and if you're not good with high CPS, you're gonna struggle with it like I did. Whenever it comes to difficulty, I find this very similar to Ethereal Artifice in difficulty. I'm gonna go ahead and say it was harder than Ethereal Artifice. I think right smack in the middle between Stalemate Redux and Ethereal Artifice suits this level well. However, if someone did call this easier than Ethereal, I wouldn't like really disagree. I think it just all comes down to experience. Yeah, no, this level was really damn hard though. This level kicked my ass. It was really freaking hard. Holy crap, man. But yeah, overall, it's a great level. I would absolutely recommend it if you're curious. And Zeronium outdid himself. This is a really, really good level, and I'm very glad I was able to beat this as quickly as I did. As in like 3 weeks after the level came out. I'm pretty proud of that. But yeah, that's all I got.